I was just talking to Sue, and Roy went out and bought a $6,000 tractor, and a lawnmower, a $6,000 lawnmower. And it just seems like Anita and I, we buy this house, and it was a repoed house. We got an amazing deal on it, but everything has been like cash to put it together. And so as we get money, we put more money into the house, and it's probably like 70% complete. I mean, our upstairs is really nice now, but it seems like every day the dreaded mailman comes. When I lived at home, I used to love the mailman. Because I used to get magazines, so when I lived with my parents, I'd run out to the mailbox and see what magazines came that day. Now the mailman comes, and I go, ugh. Because I don't get many magazines anymore. All I get is bills. I'm really surprised more mailmen aren't shot, because they only bring bad stuff. You either get junk mail or you get bills. So it's like you try and get ahead, and it seems like whenever you get ahead, something breaks or something happens. The car, you get a flat tire, Andy and I, when we bought the house, we took out a Lowe's credit card and we bought all our appliances and a bunch of stuff we bought on our Lowe's card. So we struggle. Finally pay this Lowe's card off. We paid it off in under a year. I said to Anita the night we paid it off, I said, we can breathe now. Our Lowe's card is completely paid off. I come home the very next day, and it's raining. And I walk in the house, and I said, why is that wall wet? And our ceiling, our roof has a leak, and it's dripping right down our wall. And I went, God, why? We just got ahead. And it really took me a couple hours, because I did a lot of pouting. I said, God, we're faithful to you, you know. What are you doing to us here? And it took me probably a couple hours of pouting before I realized God had been faithful to us. I could not have handled our roof leaking and realizing we were going to have to put a roof on had I had that bill looming over my head. And that was only a couple $100 a month payment, but I'm the type of person that I can't handle being bombarded with stuff. I like to have my finances in order. I sat down at the table, and Anita came home from work, and I said, I guess we're lucky. I said, the Lord has been faithful to us. We were able to get a bill paid off, one that was important that I really needed to get paid off. I said, He's been faithful. I said, it shows that when we're faithful, He's faithful to us. And people say, well, you still got to put a roof on. If He was being faithful, you wouldn't have to put a roof on. That stuff's always going to happen. The car's always going to break. The roof is going to leak. The washer or dryer is going to break. It's just, that's life. But when we're faithful to God, He's faithful to us. And we may not always get ahead in the sense where we can put an extra $100 in the bank account, but He's faithful. I tell Anita all the time, we talk about, I'm more of a pessimist, and Anita's really an optimist. And I always, it takes me a second to realize what all God has given us. And Anita's real quick to point out all that God has given us. And she says, you got this house, and we've got this, and we've got a yard, and all this stuff. And it takes me a while to realize she's right. I want a new truck, but I don't need a new truck. God has provided me with the money to pay for a car. He's provided money for me to buy a house. He's providing for everything I need. I may want more, but I don't need more because He's provided that for me. And I really believe when we talk about our tithe and our offering, that when we're faithful to God, He's faithful to us.